Professor Ayman Yousef is a professor of international relations and conflict resolution at the Arab American University, Palestine Jenin. He is the board director of the Policy and Conflict Resolution Studies Center at the same university. And Mr. Mustafa Sheta is an ex-political prisoner with a wealth of experience in the Palestinian civil sector as a researcher, journalist, and coordinator for prominent organizations and projects. Mustafa previously worked as a researcher at the American University of Beirut as well. And since 2016, he serves as the general manager of the Freedom Theater. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good morning. We are very much pleased to be here at Dar al-Kalima University, and would like to extend our deep thanks and appreciation to the university for inviting us for this very much stimulative and enriching conference. And indeed, this conference comes, across our, disciplines, academic disciplines, in terms of theories, approaches, and in terms of even some skills. In my field, in conflict resolution and peace studies, it is more of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approaches and theories that we use. And we believe culture and soft power is really important today. I think investment from national perspective, from academic Palestinian national perspective, I think we need to invest more in soft power tools, in public diplomacy. This is a kind of public diplomacy we always feel, and we theorize generally in international relations perspective, and from political science perspective, we theorize and conceptualize that even if you have a field movement, a kind of a protest field movement, whether it is peaceful or non-peaceful, you need to invest in political utilization. And one aspect, one track of it is this kind of investment in soft power in terms of literature, in terms of drama, in terms of theater, in terms of let us say non-violent tools. So I think our main objective is to reflect on this topic, the culture of the oppressed, and its implications for Palestine. What is unique, I believe, at this stage, and what is special when we introduce this topic, is a kind of more than one paradigm in order to understand the culture of the oppressed at the global level and its implications and manifestations for Palestine. We used two paradigms, the post-colonial, as represented by Edward Said, even Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, this kind of, a critical, approach to the mainstream, theoretical setting. And the second approach is more of liberal Western perspectives in conflict resolution and peace studies developed by Johan Galtung, let us say John Porton, and even to some extent, Gramsci. So it is a matter of more than one theoretical approach. It is very much complex, at theoretical level. And when we used to write, we have to bring, a lot of, let us say, complex approaches, sometimes contradictions within the approach itself in order to understand it. Certain, approaches are more political, and some of them are more social. Some of them are oriented towards a class analysis. Some of them are oriented towards civil liberties. So there were certain, certain paradoxes and certain complexities within the paradigm itself. More experience is needed. More theoretical is needed, really, to understand the work of Fanon, the work of Derrida, the work of Foucault, even Mahatma Gandhi at different levels, and, to bridge this gap between, theory and the practice. So we try to understand it from this broader, global, let us say, theoretical framework, although we have some local issues. How to get these, global paradigms and localize them. This is the issue, I think, in my view, theoretically and academically, how we can localize and nationalize different theoretical approaches produced in different environments to serve, the Palestinian cause at more broader level, because we are not community, we are nation under occupation. In some other contexts, the main focus group, the target group used to be local communities, local individuals, isolated people here and there, some tribes, some religious communities, but in our case, it is more of a nation, it is more of a people under occupation. So how can we make use of this available literature and existing literature in order to develop a kind of peaceful, let us say, peaceful soft power resistance in order to delegitimize the occupation, over our land. So the main objective, at this stage, to explore, to explore what are the manifestations of these different, cultural issues, theoretical issues, and how we can nationalize them, how we can make use of them to our national cause. We relied on three let us say, harmonious concepts: resistance, how to resist, resilience, how to keep resilience and steadfastness in the field, and how to liberate. Even when it comes to these issues, some of them need to be planted in Palestinian soil, need to be reshaped by academics and the scholars in order to show how we can use them for our cause. By resistance, I think the issue of liberty, the issue of justice, the issue of of equality, we need to build alliances, we need to build movements. And why this is important, I believe at much broader level, I think the Palestinians could not form an alliance of nation states. I think it is risky to have states, in our side, because from realist perspective, these states are driven by interest. I think we need more support by communities, by nations, by people who are driven by values, solidarity movements, environmental movements, human rights movements, some individual groups here and there. So I think the shift that we used in this paper from more of realism to more of, let us say, liberal, ideal global values. And I think this is a huge epistemological project. We need, I think, to work hard in order really to put these three concepts in context: how to resist, how to maintain resilience, and how to emancipate. Even if from this liberation, liberation as a term, I think we have to differentiate between political liberation for the Palestinians as a nation and from emancipation. Emancipation, it has more of social context. Emancipation of communities, emancipation of women, emancipation of marginalized, emancipation of some tribal issues. But when it comes to national causes, right for self-determination, right to resist in the available, in available means, I think, we have to go for a much, liberation scheme which can serve us at much, at much, practical level. What is special about this paper also, I am pleased to have Mustafa Sheta with me. Mustafa is a practitioner. He is the manager of a Freedom Theater in the Palestinian Jenin refugees camp. So he have a lot of issues from the field, from his experience, in order to bridge the gap between this culture of the oppressed at theoretical level, bringing Palestinian perspectives, all issues, inside the camp and outside the camp, could be delivered by Mustafa. I think I need to stop here because I don't want to deliver more, to be involved more in theoretical issues, because the main, the core of the paper is to have more practical issues and some issues from a global level, and how can we make use of them for our national cause. Thank you very much.
This is the problem sometimes when you work research with your teacher. Anyway, thank you for this opportunity, and I am really excited and happy to be in this panel to talk about cultural oppressed and about cultural resistance in general, because this is our main work, in fact, at the Freedom Theater, to all the time to focus about this kind of issue, especially when we talk about what the kind of problem here happened in Palestine and how we can make comparative between Palestine and the global experience. All the time in Palestine we use two examples or two models, like model from South Africa or model from India. And that's good, but in the same time, there really we have like different conditions about how we look for the conflict, or how we look for this occupation, or how we look for this occupation. Because all these three definition or three items, all the time the Palestinians, they use it to all the time to reach or to talk with the people outside of Palestine. But about culture of oppressed, we return to we already with the Freedom Theater, we depend on our work in this curriculum and with the Paulo Ferrari pedagogy, because we think it's important for the person to know about himself. Where is the person in the world? Where is his position in the world? So we use this strategy and this pedagogy to talk and to learn our students, and our work, in fact, depend on this. So we depend on Paulo Ferrari, and in fact we go deeply for that, from where it's come, because when we put Gramsci picture, it's about from where this idea come, about how we look for the we said about العليا والstructure,
higher structural paradigm.
Yeah, so it's important for us because that leads us to know more about Brecht. Brecht, he created the revolutionary theater. Then we talk about how we can look for our work and the impact for the work here. So the cultural of oppressed we consider it like global phenomenon, and it's like a struggle of marginalized, promoting for social justice and liberation. And we think it's important if we talk about something, it's really important for social and political movement, especially under occupation or under oppression. Where we think all the time when we talk about Palestine, it's like a global issue or global problem in the world, and how we can put the link between the Palestinian case and another cases in the world. So the problem, for example, and that's all the time we talk about it, the problem, for example, with the people in Chile, with the capitalism, it's like we have that common space, talk about the same oppression happen in the world and how we can be to make a unit against that oppression in Palestine or outside of Palestine. So it's and here we talk about different issue, in fact, because the rule of cultural of oppressed in general, it's about power of cultural expression, challenging the system of oppression, empowering marginalized community, fostering social and political movement, historical and contemporary examples. And here, sometime especially about contemporary examples, it's really sometimes here sensitive, because when we talk about the freedom, the whole picture of freedom, that put us sometimes in very difficult condition or insensitive corner. Like, for example, how we can talk, for example, about LGBT rights, for example, in the world, about the feminist movement in Palestine, I mean. It's not easy to work in this issue here in Palestine, because that's unacceptable, out of the box, out of the traditional, conservative. So it's not easy to talk about this issue. Recently, in fact, at the Freedom Theater, because we try sometimes to make something practical, we did something really unique and important for us to have the Feminist Theater Festival, where we focus for the feminism issue through theater. And depend on that, we try to send our messages, but by this creative way to the people, how we can work for more to reach for more people through some liberal issue and talk about something really important in the world. Because we think that, and again, about the freedom, it's not just in the occupation, the freedom, it's the whole picture of freedom. because you need to talk about freedom. That means you need to free your mind and accept the others. And how we can work in this, because the idea not to end the occupation, because maybe we can end the occupation, and I believe we can do that, but the idea, it's not just in the occupation to bring another dictator or to replace this regime by, for example, from my side, by religious regime in Palestine. We can say, it's, for me, it's the same struggle, and how we can find this this way, because it's like oppression. Okay, that's from depend on my point of view, because that's important for me to talk about this. So there is important international experience, and we like to mention for that. For example, the experience in South Africa. Yes, there's important experience that's related with cultural and arts and the performing arts in general. Whereas the people in South Africa, the struggle against apartheid, that pushed them, in fact, to invest and to reach their cultural heritage and the traditional in music and dance and all of that. That's the same, in fact, with the black African people in US. The same when they develop and improve jazz and hip hop. That's because to represent their idea and their identity within the American society. They don't say we are out. They said we are include, we are in, we are within, but through our style and our model. And the Latin America, for example, they're against. I mean, in US, they're against the racism. In Latin America, they're against the colonialism. This is the big concept. Che Guevara and Hot Chavez and all. It's a big concept and big idol. But they focus for that to fight and to against the colonialism by cultural way and by creative way. And that was important. For the Freedom Theater, we raised and we focus for cultural resistance, where we consider ourselves part of revolution, Palestinian revolution. Especially we are in Jenin refugee camp. That's, I mean, it's clear we are part of what's going on in Jenin, and depend on that we raise, and that's not come just by the people now. I mean, from the first day of establish the Freedom Theater. With Arna Merchamis, Jewish woman, she came to Jenin to establish this center in Jenin refugee camp with her son, Giuliano. We focus for this platform, for freedom of or free platform for expression. So we focus for what we need as in Palestine, what the Palestinians they passed in their revolution, and why they don't until this moment. They don't achieve their goals to liberate and to get their freedom. The Palestinians, they used military revolution and direct action, clashes between the Palestinians and the occupation. And they used another way. It's the negotiation and peace process and all of that. And all of that failed. So where is the problem? In that time, we don't go deeply. We are not political leaders, or we are not political party. But we think it's important to say the Palestinians in their revolution, in the whole period, they don't make any monitoring or any evaluation for the revolution. So all the time we are failed. And in the same time, we don't invest in the cultural way, on the cultural side. So during the interior fighting and during the aggressive action from the occupation, it's important to invest in culture. So we think it's important for how we can link between cultural resistance and cultural of oppressed. Or we talk about theater of oppressed by Augusto Paul, Brazilian too. So and we use this model too. So it's important to talk about understanding the cultural of oppressed and artistically expression and creativity, education, and the last issue, because I need to try to say everything. The idea for us in cultural resistance, it's mean media. It's mean education, it's mean art. So for the Palestinian, we can use those tools, in fact, to invest in our identity in Palestine and to protect our exit in Palestine by this way. To reach for something is important. Later will come about liberation, about the common space between all the Palestinian. In this time, I think it's important to invest in cultural side, and that is like a call to for all the people to focus on this issue, especially in Palestine, because in this time Israel attacked everything, especially that's what we we are live daily in Jenin. That may be different. Daily we have occupation attacked us, and so it's important to focus on this. And thank you for listening.